All right, you guys, what is going on? Locker room talk. So, you know what I'm saying? You see the jerseys hanging, you know what I'm saying? So, all right, so I'm not going to say a few hours, we're several hours away, probably from um, the main event walkout. So, um, probably if everything goes correct, maybe the fighters will start walking out around maybe 8:30. Hopefully the first bell rings around 9, but maybe they'll get it started a little bit earlier. But I decided to do a stream because I just wanted to talk about this because in the grand scheme of things, all right, so here you are now. Um, if you a diehard Tank fan, which I'm not, I think Tank is a good fighter, but we want to see Tank in a fight where he's gonna have a challenge, and um, we've yet to see that. And the thing is, when you try to talk logic and when you try to break this down, you get fanatics and fanboys and fangirls that get mad. I've said this before. I'm not your buddy at the bar. You know, not your buddy at the bar. Um, I just gotta be realistic with the stuff that I say, and I'm just like analyzing this fight. I mean, okay, Tank is a heavy favorite to beat Frank Martin, and my response to that from the odds makers and people like that, yeah. When was the last time you saw Tank in a fight that he wasn't a heavy favorite to win? And once again, that comes down to matchmaking. Now, Tanky talks a good game, but at the end of the day, we've yet to see him really test himself. We all knew he was going to knock out Ryan Garcia. In all likelihood, he's going to beat Frank Martin. He's going to probably stop Frank Martin because one thing for sure, Frank Martin doesn't have the popularity. Keep in mind, Frank Martin was fighting in ballrooms before he fought Tank. And you have to wonder if he's ready for the grand stage. You know, he could have easily fought Shakur Stevenson. He could have fought, somebody like that. He could have fought Devin Haney. But then again, based off what's going on with Devin Haney, the current state of Devin Haney, what went on when he fought Ryan Garcia, well, we're going to have to see what's going on with Devin Haney and see how he looks in his next fight. But Devin Haney is back at the gym. Devin Haney is looking well. Um, the real test is going to be how Devin Haney looks in his next fight and what's going to happen with Ryan Garcia. But this thing with Tank, his fans are sitting up saying, yeah, Tank is going to knock Frank Martin out. Well, he's supposed to knock Frank Martin out. He's supposed to dominate Frank Martin. Once again, nobody really asked for this fight. And that's just real talk. And for people that's going to say, oh, well, Tank is shutting people up who says he doesn't fight black fighters. Well, okay, cool. But you could have fought other black fighters, more established black fighters in Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. And there's some other names out there. Now he's saying he got a 6-fight deal with Amazon. We'll just have to see. Now, who comes next? Now he's saying that Lomachenko is next. But before that, he said Shakur Stevenson was next. And before that, he said Lomachenko was next. But it's looking like he's setting up a showdown with Vasyl Lomachenko. Looked like the fight could possibly happen in November if everything goes correct. They're saying they're in pre-negotiations, which means pre-negotiations mean they're in pre-talks. Now, the thing is for Frank Martin, if you look how Frank Martin's been treated by Tank's fans, it's kind of understandable why some people are being turned off to Tank. Then again, him and Floyd kind of like the same person. They seek attention. And, the only way for them to promote fights is to put on a minstrel show. Floyd did it and Tank learned it from Floyd. And then, you got Tank saying some unkindly words about Floyd Mayweather's daughter, which I think he should leave. I think he should leave her out of this. At the end of the day, she don't bother nobody. I don't even think you have to bring that up. And I think this particular element there's no reason to bring up somebody's daughter. I know you don't like Floyd, and that's fine. You know, I know you don't like Floyd, but that's fine. But I think you should leave his daughter out of this because once again, Yaya don't got nothing to do with this. This is between you and Floyd. Now, my thing is with Tank. Okay, let's say he does fight Lomachenko next. Well, here's the thing. Whether Tank likes it or not, that's not going to shut people up because people are going to say, okay, well, you fought a 36-year-old Lomachenko. You fought a 36-year-old Lomachenko that you could have fought like 4 years ago, and you refused to fight him. So now people gonna say, okay, well, Lomachenko is older now. Okay, George Kambosos Jr. That was a good win for Lomachenko, but once again, people gonna say, well, somebody of your stature should have tried to fight Lomachenko when everybody was saying he was the number one pound for pound fighter. Lomachenko to me was never number one pound for pound fighter. I thought that was very fraudulent and disingenuous of certain media outlets to say that Lomachenko was number one pound per pound. When you looked at Lomachenko's resume, you was like, who did he fight? So, so you just like, okay. Because I looked at Lomachenko's resume and then I looked at Tank's resume. Lomachenko didn't fight any world beaters himself. I mean, his best win was against Rigondeaux, and Rigondeaux was undersized. Nicholas Walters looked like he didn't even care. So then Lomachenko lost to a dude that had double-digit losses. But at the same time, people wanted to see that fight to see where Tank really was as a fighter and see was Lomachenko really the goods. So looking at this fight with Tank and Frank, or Frank and Tank, he's supposed to win. What's gonna be so shocking about seeing Tank beat Frank Martin? What's gonna be impressive? And that just goes to show you where boxing is and where boxing fans is. They only demand certain fighters fight the best guys out there. And then when they do try to fight the best guys, they try to downplay. Once again, who asked for this fight with Tank and Frank Martin? Nobody. And then Frank Martin seems to be getting undercut for this fight. Frank Martin is only making, allegedly, according to reports, $500,000. Now, somebody said that he may get more off the back end and pay-per-view in the live gate. Why would Tank give Frank Martin back end money, gate money, and pay-per-view money when he doesn't have a name? You give those type of perks and incentives to people that have a name. Frank Martin doesn't have a name. Why you think Frank Martin had to settle for basically him having to take drug tests under VADA, but then Tank doesn't have to reveal whether or not he took drug testing? Now, I got to say something on a side note that I'm going to do a video about that kind of went over my head, which I didn't find out till like earlier today. I found out that Alexander Voslik, David Benavides' opponent, is training under Eddie Reynoso. No wonder he's talking about he feels good and this is the best conditioning that he's ever had. Now, if this dude goes in there and look how he looked like 5 or 6 years ago, now I have to question. Now I'm, you know, raising my eyebrow, throwing up throwing up all kind of red flags. The alarm is going off. The purge alarm is going off because he's training under Eddie Reynoso. Did not know that. No wonder he talked about he's feeling good, because we all know Eddie Reynoso's history. Now, I'm not trying to say nothing, but it's out there, it's documented. So let's see how this dude looks. Now, here's the thing. Now, if David Benavidez, you know what I'm saying, beats the hell out of Boslick, then whatever. But basically, they sending him in there as basically a test look to see how would he perform versus Canelo. We all know, yeah, yeah, that has to be put out there. That I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like people can. It's not like I'm slandering. It's not like I'm slandering Eddie Reynoso's name. It is a cloud of suspicion, so I have to put that out there. This is what you call real journalism. No wonder he's saying this is the best he ever felt. This dude, from what I seen, then fought a whole bunch of like, you know what I'm saying? A few. I don't even think he fought any full fledged 12 round fights since he came out of retirement. But I would have to see. But now it is cause for concern based on the fact that wait a minute, you traded under Eddie Reynoso? You traded under Eddie Reynoso, who had multiple fighters test positive for PED. So I'm gonna tell you guys something. And in case David Benavidez loses his this fight, we should all be suspicious until the drug tests come back. If there are any drug tests, because I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. I know for a fact there have been some PBC cards where fighters didn't test for PEDs at all, did not do any type of, you know, RDTs. RDT stands for random drug testing. So I know that for a fact. This is one of the reasons why the PBC doesn't like me very much and why they don't like to credential me for fights. But, it is what it is. When you ain't a serial ass kisser like a lot of these other media people are, well, things like that happen. So yeah, I'm very suspicious. I'm very suspicious of Alexander Boslick training under Eddie Reynoso. Well, you know what? I don't want to put nothing out about, I don't want to put nothing out about Errol Spence. I'm gonna be cool for right now, but I will say this: I know for a fact that some of these PBC events there were question marks surrounding testing and when some certain fighters were tested or wasn't tested when they were supposed to be tested. So this is an ongoing thing. Oh, and by the way, for people that think I'm just picking on Mexicans, no, it was some of the black fighters and the non-black fighters too at some of these PBC cards that didn't basically do random drug testing. So I'm focusing on everybody. What? Whatever. I see we got trolls here. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Every time you trolls come here and say something stupid, you making me money. Stay on here as long as you want. Cause I win regardless. Anytime you click and watch this video, I make money. So you sucking into my pockets like the stock market. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting that gold like a hoe on the stroll. So, you know, bars. No, I am to the David Benavidez, but they basically sending him out there as, basically they sending him out there, sort of like if you running a gauntlet and stuff, they sending him out there to see, well, um, can he get past Voslik? But I don't think Canelo's ever gonna fight. Um, I don't think he's ever gonna fight David Benavidez. Now he's still saying that he may fight Terrence Crawford, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a bad look on Canelo if he bypasses David Benavidez and fights Terrence Crawford, a guy that's going to be two weight classes. Terrence Crawford is making his junior middleweight debut in August. And even if Canelo brings him up to 168, when he could have easily fought David Benavidez at 168, is not going to be a good look on Canelo's, you know what I'm saying, his resume, because people are going to act well. Real journalists and people that really about getting the truth out there is going to ask that question. You fight Terrence Crawford, but the guy that you should have fought, could have fought, who's been your mandatory for like 5 years, you bypassed him for Terrence Crawford. But you keep saying, "Oh well, the money has to be right." I know you can at least make 70 million to fight David Benavidez. That fight will sell itself. So so I'm gonna pay very close attention to this fight. I want to see how Boslick looks versus David Benavidez now that he's training under Eddie Reynoso. I was shocked when I found that out. I was shocked when I found that out. I was like, wow. So there is going to be a cloud of suspicion. The thing is, people ain't put tremendous pressure and really went after Eddie Reynoso, started asking tough questions, because at the end of the day, these dudes they want to be there so bad they won't ask the tough questions. Where me, they know I will ask the tough questions. I'm not going to be disrespectful about it. There's no way Canelo can get away and be respected if he fights Terrence Crawford over David Benavidez. He should never be respected. That will be a cherry pick. It's no way. It's no way that Canelo should be respected if he fights Terrence Crawford. And if he wins, okay, here's the thing. He's supposed to win. Canelo would be a heavy favorite. It's kind of like it's a win-win situation. It's sort of like a win-win situation for Terrence Crawford, but it's a question mark around Canelo, because once again, people are going to say, wait a minute, Canelo, you chose to fight a dude that was 2 weight classes smaller than you over a dude that was in your same weight class that had been your mandatory for like 5 years. That's not going to be a good look. I'm like I said, I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention to what I see and what goes on tonight. You know, man. First of all, I wouldn't even accept that damn belt. Canelo's not going to be a slight favorite. Canelo's going to be a over. Canelo's going to be probably Canelo's going to be a big favorite versus Terrence Crawford, because one, Terrence Crawford has not had one fight at middleweight. He hasn't had a fight at super middleweight. So how would Canelo be a slight favorite? Canelo would be a heavy favorite versus Bud. Now, if they agreed to fight, maybe now if they agreed to fight, let's just say, okay, well, we'll find some common ground. Okay, instead of 168, let's see, can we do one? Let's just say if they did a catch weight of like for no belt, let's just say 163. 163. If they just said, okay, we'll just fight, no belt on the line, we'll do a catch weight, then I might would be more inclined to say, okay, well, maybe Bud would be a lesser of an underdog. But if it's at a full-fledged 168, Canelo is going to be Canelo is going to be an overwhelming favorite. Do not let the odds maker in Vegas fool you. No, Canelo's not going to be a slight favorite. He's going to be an overwhelming favorite. Unless Bud just go and unless Bud gets one fight at 160 in between and dominates somebody with a big name, then he would be a slight underdog. But he's gonna be a big underdog. Canelo will be an overwhelming favorite versus Terrence Crawford just because of size alone. I just don't think. I know Bud has done a lot of amazing things, but like I said, going into a fight with Canelo, I mean, Canelo's not going to be, I'm not saying Canelo's a slouch, but at the same time, Canelo hasn't fought the best guys that he could have fought. Where Terrence Crawford did try to fight the best guys that was available. Canelo Canelo has blatantly dodged David Benavidez. Now, once again, this is like a stepping stone, or this is just a test to see what happens tonight. Now, I will be paying close attention to how Boslick fights. And let's just say all of a sudden, if Boslick, like in the later half of the fight, the later end of the fight, all of a sudden starts to get a second win and develop this, mysterious. Now, Boslick could crack, but let's just say he just gets this overwhelming power like the second half of the fight. I'm gonna be scratching my head and I'm gonna really have my antennas up because, like I said, as a guy that goes to these fights, I watch everything. And when I say I pay close attention to everything, I pay close attention to everything. Just like a lot of people ain't been putting this out there because at the end of the day, people, in particularly media, they don't believe in rocking the boat because some of these people, and I understand some of these people, this is their bread and butter. So at the end of the day, if they can't cover fights, they can't go to fights, they can't, feed their family. Where me covering fights, being a credentialed media member isn't my bread and butter. So I have other ways to make money. So I understand, but I don't like it. But at the end of the day, these fighters need to be able to withstand somebody asking them a tough question without them trying to ostracize somebody or say, "How dare you ask me?" something like that. But then again, the media does this all the time where they put a spin on stuff or they try to ignore certain things. Now, I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you guys know, and I want to expose the media once again on their inconsistent outrage or their inconsistent concern about how athletes portray themselves in the media. Now, there's a picture floating around of NFL quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Now, me myself, I like Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback. He throws a lot of interceptions, and he just got a big time contract. He just got a 5-year extension, 275 million, $55 million a year, 200 million of that contract at least guaranteed. But there is a picture that I'm gonna put up later on of him holding what appears to be a weapon. Now, where's all the outrage that Ja Morant got? Why isn't anybody opening their mouth talking about guns and athletes and guns? Now, keep in mind, uh, Ja Morant lives in Tennessee. That is a very open carry state. Uh, Trevor Lawrence lives in Florida. Florida isn't, if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to become an open carry state, but you have to have a concealed carry permit. But I know what they're going to say. Oh, he's just exercising Second Amendment rights. Or they're going to say, well, the way Trevor is holding the gun is different. Ja Morant, one of those guns that Ja Morant posted a picture of was a fire pistol. But for some reason, he got suspended for 40 games for basically exercising his Second Amendment rights. And once again, it's not illegal and it's not a violation of social media policies on any of these social media platforms, from YouTube to Twitter, X, whatever it's called. What's the other one? Snapchat, Instagram. It's not against their policies to show firearms. So once again, I'm still trying to figure out why was Ja Morant suspended. He didn't shoot anybody. So, but once again, ain't nobody said nothing about that picture of Trevor Lawrence. But I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna show it. But you notice Stephen A. Smith ain't said nothing about that. Where's all this video? Malika Andrews ain't saying nothing. Nobody ain't saying nothing about Trevor Lawrence. That picture of Trevor Lawrence, even though that gun looked like it wasn't real, because it looked like it was a relic of a gun, but it's just the point. Why ain't there public outrage with him showing a firearm on social media? Oh, I know why. Because he's not black. But there you have it. I just wanted to put that, side note. But that's what I'm saying about the media. How they're gonna overlook certain things. I mean, look how some of them have betrayed this, or look how some of them have basically covered this Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia thing. A lot of people didn't say nothing about it. Some people was just like, we'll wait and see what happens. People like me was very vocal about what was going on, and I presented nothing but the facts to people, as I'm supposed to do. Just like I proved once and for all that Ryan Garcia is a lying, cheating ass piece of crap. But getting back to Frank Martin need to really sit down and look at what's going on and be like, man, was it worth it? I shouldn't have let them talk me out of the Shakur Stevenson fight. But then again, PBC didn't want to send another one of their fighters over on another, the fight under another promotional card, only for them to lose. When basically they could just say, hey, we'll give you the tank fight. Once again, Tank is undercutting Frank Martin. Frank Martin, I would have told Al Heyman to hell with you. I'm taking this money. Now, he would have stood the chance of possibly being shelved, but I would have took that money. I would have took the money. I wouldn't have let Al Heyman talk me out of taking that money. But, you've been hearing about Frank having issues about too many hands in the cookie jar. That's something he got to figure out. But I still would have took the Shakur Stevenson fight, and at least Shakur Stevenson would have been more professional about going into the promotion. That's just my take on the whole situation. I think it would have been a more professional setting. One thing about Shakur Stevenson, he is professional when he's going into a fight. Now, he has a fight coming up in about maybe 2 or 3 weeks from now, July the 6th. So, he got some stuff coming up. So we'll see. Now, my thing is with Shakur, I hope he doesn't put his career on hold waiting to see if he gonna get. I hope he don't put his career on hold to see if he gonna get a fight with Tank. Tank is talking about Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. They all now it'll be funny after Tank fights Frank Martin. If he wins, okay, he says he's gonna negotiate with Lomachenko, but then he goes into a rematch with Isaac Cruz or El Rayo, or for all we know, he may even fight. Hey, for all we know, Tank probably would consider fighting Blair Cobb. That's a winnable fight for Tank. That's a winnable fight. I'll be happy for Blair to Flair Cobb getting a big pay, getting a landmark payday. Because one thing about Blair to Flair Cobb, I give the brother credit. Blair to Flair Cobb always speaks to the media. He always gives you access. Even when his career is over, I hope Blair to Flair Cobb gets a gig as an analyst. Because, I'm just saying. So don't be surprised if neither Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson is Tank's next opponent. So don't be surprised if he fights the winner of El Rayo or Pitbull Crew. Man, if I was a gambling man, I probably would go with Pitbull winning that fight. Because he got that style that'll give you trouble, that come forward, high guard style. You got to really be what you would call a slick. and crafty fighter to handle a guy that puts tremendous pressure. So, but I think if I was a gambling man, I probably would go with Cruz to win that fight. And then that'll set up a Tank. That'll set up a Tank versus Cruz rematch. So there you have it. But as far as tonight's fight go, is anybody going to be surprised if Tank wins this fight? He's supposed to win a fight like this. Now his fans will have you believing this is going to be the greatest victory. Well, here's the thing though. Why you think Tank picked Frank Martin? Because he know that he could pretty much Ike Turner. He pretty much know that he could slap Frank Martin around in negotiations, where he couldn't do that to Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. So Frank, that's another reason why they gave Tank this fight and set this fight up for Tank, because it'd be easy to get his way in negotiations. Man, I have no idea. I have no idea. At the end of the day, I got a feeling that, listen, when Ryan Garcia, when all the shenanigans is over, when he quit buying time and he have to stand before the New York State Athletic Commission, I think either a few days before he goes in front of the commission, I think Ryan Garcia is going to rat on somebody. He's going to go full-fledged Jose Canseco. I think he's going to name names. At this point, Ryan Garcia, he needs to I just wish Ryan Garcia would just be a man. I just wish he'd be a man and just admit that he took that shit and just stop lying to the public. Listen, there has not been one rock that's been left unturned. Ryan Garcia then scorched the earth trying to come up with a legitimate lie, not excuse, a legitimate lie on why I just wish he would just be a man. He's ran out of lies. Oh, I know he is. Oh, I know he is. I know listen, that's what we're all waiting for. And he will do it. He will do it. He's going to name names. And like I said before, I kind of just, the way I feel about Tank, I'm just keeping it a buck. Once again, you got these people, these Tank fans, just like what happened with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, where they want to play the so-called pro-black game. They want to act like they just power to the people, just righteous. But then none of these cowards have said anything about Tank aligning himself with a fucking Mexican that disrespected, whose family disrespected a black fighter by calling them nappy heads and all this kind of stuff. But Tank would rather defend him instead of taking up for his Muslim and black brother in Devin Haney. So that shows you what type of person Tank is, and that just shows you how inconsistent his followers is. And these fake pro-black people, they play the pro-black card when it's convenient. So, I'm just saying. Tank going full-fledged 50 Cent with Eminem, for Ryan Garcia, because you know how 50 Cent loves to defend his master, Eminem, how he, how you say anything about Eminem, here he come trying to beef with you and stuff. This bitch ass nigga 50 Cent actually said that he wanted to fight Nick Cannon when Nick Cannon was going at it with Eminem. Like, dude, you sounded like a mark. I want to fight Nick Cannon. You said, bro, that sounded like, bro, stop it. 50 Cent don't even defend black women the way he defend Eminem. So Dr. Umar Just was right about that. Some of these dudes that's funny. You got 50 Cent defending some white rapper that made a whole bunch of racist songs about black people and black women. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's black men for you. And that's why sometimes in our community, our women don't respect us, even though some women in our community don't deserve our respect. So it's two-way street. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. I just gotta call. I just gotta call it. I just gotta call it 100. That man actually showed me the fight Nick Cannon. That shit sounded hella zesty for talking about my master. Talk about my boss. Talk about my boss, Master Marshall Bruce Matters. That's really from Kansas, not Detroit, but whatever. So I'll just, that's pretty much what Tank doing, and it's real disappointing. And to hear Tank constantly trying to double down to say, "Oh, Ryan didn't cheat." Well, how the fuck do you know? That's my thing to Tank. How do you know? Like you got, you know what I'm saying? How do you know what was going on in Ryan Garcia's camp? How do you know, dude? See, nobody won't say that to Tank. Because if I was there, I would have asked him. I would have said, I would have followed, I would have came to Tank. I would have said, so Tank, you said that Ryan Garcia didn't cheat. And if he would have said, yeah, I would have said, well, how did you know? How do you know? Were you with Ryan Garcia 24/7 going into the camps? And then I would have said, well, how do you explain Ryan Garcia constantly getting caught in lies by the so-called, supplement companies that he said he used their products, which were contaminated or had ostarine in it that didn't have ostarine in it? See, I would apply pressure on Tank. And what Tank would have did was he would have got mad. He would have told Leonard Ellaby, he ain't talking to me no more. Tank should just stay out of this. So I'm just saying somebody need to ask him that question. Well, how do you know? We didn't see any footage of you in any of Ryan Garcia's camps. So were you with him 24/7? So how do you know Ryan Garcia didn't cheat? And then you going on this fake stance against Vada and stuff. Like Tank just making a clown of himself. And that's basically the bottom line. My thing is Tank's supposed to be breaking ribs and all this stuff. Now I find it mighty strange that Tank don't have to reveal whether he's taking random drug tests, but Frank Martin does. Oh, he don't trust Vada, but Frank Martin has to use Vada. So make that make sense. I told you people out here just fake. Nobody asked him that question. I would have asked his ass that question. I would have said, so you were with Ryan Garcia, every way possible. So you followed Ryan Garcia, you were in his camps. So how do you know Ryan Garcia didn't take anything? I would have made Tank look stupid. I would have made him look stupid. I would have said, how do you know? I would have asked him to elaborate, explain to us. So how do you know? Was you talking to Ryan Garcia via social media, Zoom 24/7? Did you have your own personal camera crew following Ryan Garcia around? I would have said, how do you know? See, nobody won't ask him that question. Because we know Tank, when he get mad at people, because you know when Tank get mad at people, he ban them. He say he ain't talking to them no more. Shout out to Detroit. He bans them and all that good stuff. Because that's how a lot of these fighters are. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. They don't want you to act. They want you to tread water lightly. They want you to walk on water like Jesus. Watch how you talk to them. Don't ask me no question. And it can be pertaining to a boxing question. But I would ask Tank, well, how do you know Ryan Garcia is clean? How do you know he didn't cheat? I know he would get mad. So there you have it. But anyway, you guys, appreciate y'all being here. About to head out. So I'll come back with more. I'm out.